Hello, Top Fan Rivalry followers, and welcome to the All-Star edition, hey, of the weekly review. I got Jackson. I'm Bill. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna talk about the wonder that is the All-Star game. Jackson, how you doing? You ready to go?
Yeah, I am. You know, we've made it through one half of baseball.
Yeah,
So now the games really start to count, as they say. But you know how we feel here. Every game counts.
every game
But
counts.
now you just kind of feel it a little bit more.
100%. 100%. So, Jackson, what's your number one?
Uh, Number one, I'm going to talk about the biggest All-Star snub. Um, I don't want to disrespect Cleveland fans or the city of Cleveland, but why wasn't Brent Rooker an All-Star over David Fry? That's my biggest
Good
All-Star snub of
question.
the weekend. This is a great quit. Rooker has 21 home runs, 62 RBIs. The David Fry's 8 home runs, 33 RBIs. Rooker is crushing him in OPS, 942 to David Fry's 853. And look, I know it's fan voting, and I know the players vote on it. Stats change, but why are we selecting All Stars 2 weeks before the All Star game if we're taking stats into account? I know Rooker got a little hot before the break, but still, it baffles me that stuff like this happens. They don't just announce the All Stars like right before
Yeah.
or end voting right before. Because again, every game counts. But Brent Rooker should have been an All Star. He's probably going to be this trade deadline's hottest bat, um, unless Vladimir Guerrero Jr. gets traded. So, but yeah, I just wanted to give Brent Rooker some love out there in Oakland. He's having a great year.
Oaktown. Yep. Okay. I like that. I'm not even gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole because I agree with you on this. I agree with you. Okay. My number one. Let's just get the elephant out of the room here. How in the world do you get past security, get onto the field if you're quote unquote drunk to sing the national anthem? I don't know. But apparently this nice young lady, who I'll keep her name nameless so that she doesn't feel bad, has said that she was drunk and that she is now checking herself into rehab. Congratulations, day late and dollar short, but congratulations. You should not have gotten drunk before you went to the game to sing the national anthem. Um, outside of I mean, I was comparing that to Roseanne Barr's national anthem in San Diego. It was not awesome.
Yeah, no, it was bad. The internet's already made enough fun of it. You just feel bad at a certain point because you don't want to see someone go up there and crash it. Nobody enjoys the national anthem being bad, and if you do, you need to go get some help because it's not fun to watch people struggle.
No,
Um,
no fun.
but other than that, I thought All Star Weekend was good.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah,
100%.
that's all I got to say about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jackson Forrest Gump Westfall. Thank you very much. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah,
Okay,
very
Jackson,
much.
what you got for number two?
Number two, uh, we could talk about the All Star game. Why not? The American League won again. Uh, I think the National League's only won like 4 or 5 times in my lifetime, so you could do some math and figure that out. So for me, it was just same thing, different year. National League takes an early lead, and then the American League takes it back and does not relinquish it. But that AL bullpen was nasty, Bill. I don't
Mason
know.
Miller.
Yeah, I don't know how you're supposed to deal with Mason Miller and Kirby Yates and Emmanuel Clase in the same game.
They were they were. I'm gonna pull something up for you just to make sure that I I'm not lying to you here. Make sure that I've got the statistics correct. Okay, so if you are curious, oh wait, no, that's not what I. The All-Star game started in 1933, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe the American League has won 48 times and the National League has won 44 times.
That is correct. But it is important to note at one point the National League was leading like 35 to like 12.
Right. But it's also important to note, did you see the difference in runs scored?
It's pretty bad.
Uh, it's not.
You know?
AL has 388 total runs scored. The NL has 380.
That's the all-time.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds about right if they're that close and wins.
yeah, yeah. And so the All-Star game, I mean, it's fun stuff, but let me tell you, I mean, it's the AL again dominate. I don't know how you're right. I don't know how you go against that bullpen. I
I
mean,
mean,
Mason Miller was just like throwing 102 miles an hour
I
like
think
for
he hit
breakfast.
I think he hit 105 on a pitch. I
Hmm.
was like, dude, it's an exhibition. Like, calm down. And that slider he got Otani with after setting him up with 102 on the outside to drop a slider with that much movement. And like Otani's a good enough hitter. My dad, I was watching the game with my dad. He's like, Otani swung on the right plane, the ball just kept moving.
Hmm.
And that's really all you can do against a guy like Mason Miller. I mean, the National League looked like they had some life against Reagans and Lugo, but
Hmm.
then after that, it was Kirby Yates and Emmanuel Clase. They struck out 4 batters over their 2 innings. So it was just kind of like, oh, Kirby Yates is in. Oh, Emmanuel Clase is in. Oh, yeah, the National League's not coming back. That's how it kind
Okay,
of
so
felt.
Jackson, my number two. The All-Star game has been played since 1933, with the exception of 2 years. Without looking it up, do you know the 2 years in which the All-Star game was not played? This is my number two, everybody.
I'm gonna go 2020.
Correct?
That's the gimme, and I'm gonna go 1981.
Nope.
No.
No, they still had the All-Star break. You ready?
Oh yeah, because they split it in 2 halves, huh?
Mhm.
That's right. Yeah.
So the answer is July of 1945. They didn't have it because of World War II.
Okay.
So
I probably would have guessed in that range.
yeah. Well, everybody, this is Top Gun Stats guy. So I was trying to stump him. I did. I have now officially won the award for the only person that can stump the Top Fan Rivalry Stats guy. And I'm just gonna drop the mic and go on with my life. Jackson, what do you got for number three?
Number three. I mean, let's look at the standings. After the
Mm,
first half,
yes.
and I want to hear your take. We'll just kind of rapid fire it. But some of these division races are real tight. The AL West, the Astros have cut it down to 1 game,
One game.
and I think it is to note that this weekend the Astros are taking a trip up to Seattle,
Yep.
and I want your opinion. I'm going to ask you a couple more questions, but who is going to leave that series in first place?
That's, Seattle.
Seattle? You think so?
If you would have asked me a week ago, I would have said the Astros, but Seattle still played hot. So
All
yeah.
right. And then the AL Central, which I wrote an article on this week, so you can check that out. That's up in the locker room. But the AL Central, who do you think is going to hold? Do you think Cleveland is going to hold on, or do you think the Twins or the Royals make a run at it?
Cleveland. Cleveland or the Royals. I do not think the Twins have been very streaky.
They have been very streaky. And then, of course, the big one: do the Boston Red Sox overtake the New York Yankees for second place? Because the Yankees have been a very poor second half team over the last 5 years or so, and
No,
only 3.5 games apart.
no, they
No.
don't. They don't. In fact, I think the Yankees still win that division.
Oh wow.
I would not have said that before, but I do think the Yankees win that division.
All right.
Yeah. Now I was a little surprised that you didn't mention. Um, I was a little surprised that you didn't mention something else, which I'm going to mention now. How many teams, conceivably, how many teams are there that have a conceivable shot for the playoffs in the National
In the National League, everybody except Miami and Colorado probably. Washington, I'm leaning towards no, but I'll give them another week. because
Okay.
they could play well like they have earlier in the season and
Okay.
jump right back into it.
So for your information, within 3.5 games of the wild card, there are 9 teams. There are 3 division leaders. That means there's only 3 teams that do not have a shot for the playoffs conceivably, and that is Colorado, Miami, and Washington. Nailed them, all 3 of them. But believe it or not, all there's 9 teams within 3.5 games.
Yep,
Crazy.
it is crazy, and I think it's going to come down to the wire. It's going to come down to what baseball always is: who is the healthiest
Yep.
down the stretch. Because if a team like Arizona can get healthy and get all their pitching back, I would favor them a lot more. If the
A, who is the healthiest, but B, who plays the most fundamental baseball,
yes,
the most perfect baseball.
that's important too. You got to win the games you should win. Um,
Correct.
you
Correct.
know, you could use the Mets as an example. The Mets have found themselves in a playoff spot because they get hits when they need them. Is their pitching particularly good? No, but they find ways to win ball games, and that's why they're currently in a playoff spot. So it's down the stretch. It's not necessarily playing flawless. It's about playing good fundamental baseball. If you give up 5 runs, score 6. That's how you win.
100%. 100%.
Put that on a T-shirt. They score 5, score 6. No big deal.
Give up 5, score 6.
Yeah, no big deal.
I'll put that on a t-shirt. You're right. Okay. Number 3 for me, as we're wrapping up the All-Star edition and starting the second half of this, number 3 for me comes really down to the game itself. I was happy to see the players having fun out there, but I was also happy to see good at bats and good pitching. Like they weren't just packing it in. Oh, it's the All-Star. Like you had mentioned, Mason Miller was throwing 200 miles an hour. Well, at least he wasn't packing it in saying, here, Shohei, here's an 87-mile-an-hour fastball, right? So even though everybody was doing what they were doing, um, and having fun, they were still competing. So I liked that about this year. There have been some all-star games where I've watched and gone, you guys are having way too much fun. There's very little competition here.
Yeah, where it's a couple of buddies messing around on the diamond, where it's like, hey, I'm just going to throw only fastballs.
Yeah.
Swing if it's close. No, yeah, this year, I think they only walked 3 batters, which tells me, hitters weren't sitting there looking for the perfect pitch either. So they were still having fun, but it was still competitive enough.
Right. I mean, I was sitting there as Mason Miller, I was quoting Major League as Mason Miller was pitching. I was sitting there going, forget about the curveball, Ricky. Give him the heater. That's
Yeah,
that's what he was doing.
I
So
know. Does his pitch comp need another button? Does he need the slider button? Just hit fastball. Be like, fastball up,
yeah,
fastball. Good luck.
fastball in, fastball up. Nobody's gonna catch up to it. You're good.
No, yeah, pretty much.
Cool. Well, Jackson, do you have any honorable mentions this week?
Uh, Honorable mention to Reds rookie Reese Hines, who is off to a flying start to his big league career. He has played 7 games at the major league level, Bill. And let me read you these stats. In 7 games, he's got 11 hits.
Oof.
And of those 11 hits, he has 3 doubles, a triple, 5 home runs, and 11 RBIs. He's also stolen 2 bases.
He's up to stay.
Yeah. Um,
Good
he has
old
struck
Reese.
it. He has struck it out 7 times, which is a little bit of a worry for him. But I would love to see the guy stick at a major league level. Let me tell you, all 5 of those home runs weren't cheapies. They were 430 plus at Great American Ballpark, which are it's a hitter's park, but 430 at that ballpark's a long way. So
430 in any ballpark is a long way.
yeah,
Forget about like which ballpark. 430 in any ballpark is a long way.
yeah. If anyone has the time, go look up a clip. I think his second career or third career home run, he hit one up the concourse, up the tunnel in
Yeah.
left field in Cincinnati, which is just like mind-boggling that some guy came up and had that kind of power. But he's definitely a player to watch. The Reds have had a lot of injuries. If Hines can kind of stick and give him some stability in that lineup, I think it will help them down the stretch because they really need some offensive help.
You and I need to have a show here pretty quick. You and I need to break down the draft because there was a lot of fun stuff that happened during the draft.
Yep.
Well, Top Fan Rivalry followers coming out of the All-Star break, coming into the second half. Jackson and I made it quick. We made it simple. We made it easy for you. That was the whole purpose. So Jackson, if they're going to get T-shirt club, if they're going to get any type of dugout mug or anything like that, do they have a code that they should use, or should they just pay us full price?
You should use code Jackson to get 10% off. Stock up on your stuff for the second half of the season. Prep for the playoffs now. Get your stuff. Um, because buckle up. We're in the stretch run. July and August are big months for teams, and this is where you're going to really find out who's a
Who's made of
playoff.
what?
Yeah, who's made of what? Who's a playoff team and who's not. So we talked about those teams clumped together in the National League. I guarantee you by mid-August, it's going to look very different.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Well, Jackson, let's do it again next week.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye.